Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move now to our next speaker. Tēnei uri o Ngāti Whakaue tū Rangi. A strong believer that the key to effecting positive change is having insightful, big picture thinking, guiding meaningful communications and action. Erena's background is in strategy development, quality assurance and policy and project implementation. She has 8 years working knowledge of government departments. But more recently, she has been leading innovative Whānau-focused change through the Ruapehu Whānau Transformation Plan, an example of integrated development. She translates strategy into action and is a specialist project manager who loves achieving transformation through creativity and true collaboration. E te iwi homaira te pakipaki, anei whai ake nei tēnei uri o Ngāti Whakaue tū Rangi ko Erena Mikaere.
Tērā koe hoa, e mātai, anei rā te mei atu kia koe. Me tīmata pēnei, ko te reo rā kei kura I ahu mai I ngā tohukura o te Aotearoa. Nā reira katu nei a Ruapehu maunga e me I kau atu ana kia koutou katoa, katua Ruapehu maunga e piatata ana I te pō I te ao. Ka tika me mi atu ka koe te pāpā e piri hei mihi whakatau kia mātau I te ata nei, anō nei hei whakatuwhira pai I tēnei hui. Huri atu kia koe e te tuakana I te rangatira I nanaia me o whakaro rangatira e pāna ki o mātou whānau I roa I Aotearoa tēnā koe. Huri atu I te ruma e ngā rangatira, e ngā mātā waka, e ngā mātā maunga, ngā mātā awa, a ko tai mai nei I raro I te karanga o tērā. Mo tēnei hui whakahirahira mo tātou whānau, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou. Tika tau, he uri tēnei no tūhaurangi, no ngā tuāhiao, no Ngāti Whakaue, hei tū I muia koutou I runga I ngā whāriki o te tū whakaiti. Tika tau e mātai, te tāhua hoki o tēnei ropu. Tō koutou a tāhua. I'm just waiting for our tech guys at the back there. I'm ready, are you ready? Ka pai. So, the story that I'm about to share with you today, and that was me. I wasn't ready. Anei, ko Ruapehu, tō tātou koro. Koro Ruapehu. So, the story that I'm about to share with you today is a story about us in Ruapehu, in our context, and I was asked by Nancy and co to share what it is, how we've been able to achieve it, how we brought together a number of different people, obviously including our whānau, and our framework, our outcomes, the things that we've been able to achieve to date, and then I guess to share our learnings and our insights for this particular audience. And as I said before, you are a beautiful audience, so Mātai's really neat joke to open us up this morning was great, to recognise that, and also Nanaia in her acknowledgement of the people in this room. My sister and I, we were talking earlier before we get asked to share our mahi and our story here across Aotearoa and overseas. And we were talking about how nice it is to see a lot of new faces as a part of this conversation, because it is an important conversation. And if anything over the last 2 weeks has taught us how important this conversation is to have. So this is our story. But it is transferable, it is translatable across other communities around Aotearoa. So I'll go through these bits and pieces that you can see. This is us. So if you don't know, if you haven't been lucky enough to visit Ohakune, the mecca of Ohakune and Aitahi and Wairu, this is us. And this is our region as Ngāti Rangi, so I share this story, and it's always my privilege to share it on behalf of Ngāti Rangi. This is an iwi-led, community-driven, whānau-focused plan of action. This is us. This is where we are. And to give some context to that, so I'll just go into Aitahi, and this is about the power of place to bring together people in common purpose. And when you talk about, and I'll say when you guys talk about national data, national trends, that means nothing to us. That's irrelevant to us. What's relevant to us is Raitihi, 65% Māori. These are old stats, we have the new ones, but 65% Māori. Most of those are aged under 35 and a median income of $20,000. That's our reality. That's the reality of our whānau that we're working with. So this is who we are. We managed to bring together what we call our CRG, the Community Reference Group. And it was actually through the leadership of Che Wilson, Kiri Kōwhai, my tuakana who's here today, and others who started this project back in 2011, 2012. They led a research phase of it, which then turned into our first plan. And so we brought together this collective, and I'll try and quickly rattle off who they are. So we're talking about our schools, our local health providers, our iwi, our district council, our religious leaders who have fantastic, great influence in our communities, our major employers. So for us, that's the ski fields, that's the New Zealand Defence Force, that is our sawmill and pulp mill, and our retailers, our tourism operators. There's a number of different people. There's about 40 organisations. There's marae on there, obviously, Whānau, and I guess one of the most powerful things is that we all live there. And the reason why they came together is because when Kiri Kōwhai and Che brought them together back in April 2012, they all realised for the first time, and this is probably picks up on Nanaya's point that we haven't been doing things right for a long time. And even though we're a small community, for the first time, they all realised that they were ultimately had the same purpose. And it was that they just wanted people in our community to be thriving, to be well, to be happy, to live lives that they value, whatever that looks like. And they all had a story about how they ended up in Ruapihu, and it all started with koro. So he's the thing. He's the one that has brought all of these people together, and he's the one that looks after us, and I can talk more about that as we go through. But I have an uplifting video to share with you. So I've talked about this is us, this is who we are, and now you get to see who we are. So this video is a Whānau festival that we held last year, and it was to celebrate two things. Most importantly was the signing of our deed of settlement for Ngāti Rangi, Rukutia Te Mana, on the 10th of March. And then also we were celebrating the completion of our first Ruapihu Whānau transformation plan. This time.
You got to get up, stand up, stand up. Get up, stand up, stand up. To the music that common unity brings to the system. Oh, the reggae system. Oh, we bring the people together in one unity. We bring music, peace, love, and harmony. Won't you stop everything you're doing and just dance with me? And if you're feeling Irish, get with going.
Today is about saying thank you to our community, saying thank you to our whānau, and chilling out at the Ruapihu Whānau Festival, having
Don't
some
worry about a thing, 'cause when the music hits us,
And that it's taken amongst all of us to achieve what we've been able to achieve as a part of Ruapihu Whānau transformation. And you're here at an event that's that. Top Town is another achievement of Ruapihu Whānau transformation. Kia ora raisahi, repeat this year. Te Paitata and our Ruapihu Community Learning and Technology Hub is an achievement of RWT. Ruapihu Recruitment, the iwi-owned recruitment company, is an achievement of RWT. Wharea Uru ki Ruapihu, our housing project that works alongside empowering Whānau to address some critical housing issues. There's some major investment going on in that space from TPK as another product of RWT. And there are others. And there will be more, lots of big ones coming up for all of us.
have a good time. When the feeling of job and keep it alive. Welcome up, and is the way I show my Rastafari. Come on, everybody, and give us a try. So come together as one. One
we've just finished the Whānau Festival. Everything's been packed down. It's been an awesome weekend, and just wanted to say thanks to everyone. Really appreciated it, and on behalf of us all, stay safe until our next kaupapa. Kia ora.
I'll just give a small plug. Common Unity Whānau, Spotify, you'll find them on Spotify. That's one of our local boys and their reggae band. If you ever need any entertainment for your events. And also TPM, Te Oti Maraukura Productions, is one of our local boys who, through this kaupapa and through the different mahi that we've been able to do, has set up his own production company now and does videos and has been doing things on Facebook. You'll find him doing music videos and stuff now as well. So our methodology, which is very unique to us, and I know Kiri Kōwhai will talk about this, and she said, don't steal some of my sound bites. No, she's the guru on this side of it, having led that research phase. Our methodology was stats, stories, solutions. So building our evidence base through statistics and information that, again, was relevant to us, that Kiri Kōwhai led in her request to get broken down to our place levels, so to our town levels. Because only then could we help our whānau to develop solutions that would actually have impact. You know, we had to design by development that was relevant to us. Contextualise with local experiences and aspirations, our stories, and again, I can't impress enough the importance of the community reference group and the collective and the people who live in those communities. They're the ones who know what will work for them. They're the ones who need to lead this change and transformation. So they have the answers, they have the intelligence. Like for us, you know, you can't hold a hui in winter after 6 p.m, it's too cold, no one's going to come out. It snows where we live. So it's little things like that, they make a real difference to, I guess, being successful in the implementation of this transformation. We can write policy and we can have all these fantastic plans and posters, all we want. But if it's not going to make a real impact, if it's not going to work on the ground in the real world, then we're just momo wā, momo taima. And then, of course, our whānau having developed their own solutions, which we'll talk about through the framework. I want to introduce our framework. And there's a couple of key components of this that I want to talk about. And first, obviously, is koro. You see him there up the top. And there's a whakaaro and a story and a lesson back home that he teaches us. And it's said that Kororuape'u looks after every living thing in his shadow. And for us at home, and for this kaupapa, this is about learning from that and turning to each other and making sure that those of us who live in his shadow look after our place and look after each other. And so that's the concept behind the vibrant tones, was that you can see the 3 main towns. So yellow is Raitahi, pink is Ohakune, and the green, as close as we could get to army colour, is Wairuru. And so when they come together, they create more beautiful things. They create more colours. And so that is the whole, I guess, principle behind this kaupapa. And it's captured there as well in that whakatauki from one of our rangatira back in Whanganui, Tūrama Hāwira, Rārangahia te taurawhiri tangata kia hua e te marama. Bring people, weave people together, bring people together to make a difference. That's what this is about. The theory of change behind the framework is that if our kids, if we have a good education, then we're more likely to be able to get good employment. If we have good employment, then we're more likely to have a safe, warm home. If we have a safe, warm home, then we're more likely to have better health outcomes. And if we have all of those, then we actually have the peace of mind and the time to be socially responsible and to be, I guess, represented in amongst our community. So that's the concept behind the theory of change. Inside of there, you'll see the opportunities in the middle. And just briefly, I'll say that it's at that area that Kiri Kōwhai identified measurement dimensions for which we can track and monitor and measure our progress and the change and impact that we are making. And then, of course, we drop down into the solutions for which our whānau have identified. That's what they wanted to do. That's what they think would change our environment. And again, another key, I guess, approach for us, or an important component for us, is that this is about transformation on two levels, in two parts. And Anai actually touched on it as well, is that, yes, it's about transformation from the whānau, that is whānau-led and is kind of permeating out, but it's also about transforming the community and the environment that surrounds that whānau so that it is more enabling, so that it's celebrating and accepting and sustaining that transformation. And so that's key to some of the leaders that are amongst our collective about, that's our education system, that's our business system, that's our district council. So them removing the barriers so that each new generation of whānau isn't coming up against the same barriers, which is what their parents and their grandparents have been coming up against. So I'll share with you some of our, this is my thing not working. Here we go. I'll try and share briefly as we go through some of the outcomes that we've been able to achieve. So we had 23 solutions from the first plan. We managed to achieve 20 of those solutions with an investment of 2.2 million. It was calculated that we achieved a value return of 10.2 million for our communities that stays at home inside of our towns of Raitahi, Ohakune and Waiuru. So this is some of the changes that we've been able to achieve. This is from the first plan. I need to update these. They're still good, I should say that. So 2018 data, it's still good. It's still definitely up there. And this is a school with 70% Māori, decile 1. And so some of the best results in the country for that particular year. So 4 years of transformation had achieved that. One of our, I guess our groundbreaking solutions, and one that people talk about and you can see it online, is Te Paitata, our learning centre and technology hub. So through the help of lotteries and the Whanganui Community Foundation, we were able to, we were able to turn this, which was our old senior block at the college, a dormant block, it's quite a large building, into this for our community. So it's where we hold, as you would have seen, we hold digital tech classes. We've had Silicon Maungahui there, so we've had some of the greatest minds in and around the Māori entrepreneurs in a digital space coming together into Ruape'u. We have quite a lot of different hui and kaupapa there, and it's a great space to come into. Through Te Puni Kōkiri and others, we've supported, this is our Whānau Tech Day, so we try and get, the whole point about Te Paitata is so that we can plug into any learning space and any marketplace around the world. Because with today's technology, we can do that. And so this is our innovation space, and it's about making sure that our whānau and our tamariki have access to these particular skills earlier on in life so that they can pursue those particular pathways, and they were relevant to us in our local industries as well. Another one of our key outcomes is Ruape'u Recruitment, so that's our iwi-owned recruitment and training company. What we found was that whilst our businesses and our whānau were both speaking English, they were speaking different languages. And there was a disconnect. And so when we brought all those people into the room, so when they shared their stories against the statistics and we brought all them in, we had one of our largest employers saying, we advertise to the community, but they just don't apply for the jobs. And then we had our whānau in the same room saying, we want those jobs, but we think you don't want us to work up there. And so all it was just a real disconnect. And so Ruape'u Recruitment is about connecting local people with local employment opportunities, and there's been hundreds, near on 500 over the last 5 years. You can learn more about that too, they're online. Te Whare Uru ki Ruape'u is our housing project, and so Kaitiga Meme Atu ki a TPK, so they helped us to start this particular really important focus area where Kirikowhai went out and led a needs analysis, and we used the kaimahi of our collective. So that's the other important thing about our community reference group, is that not only are they there to bring the insights, but they're there to provide resource and invest in their own community. They have to put skin in the game as well. And so we had 7 kaimahi from our health providers go out and run the survey to over 10% of our living population. And it was from that we were able to identify 4 key areas for a housing action plan, which Che Wilson named for us Te Whare Auru ki Rua Pe'u. And so that is now supported, our backbone is supported by Te Paumatakana, ka tika me atu kia koe te rangatira, mira pika korua tai ko Awerangi. They're amazing partners for purpose and behind what we do in the housing space. And I actually have a video to share about some of our new things that we've been doing in that space. But through Te Puni Kōkiri and the repairs and maintenance projects, we've been able to, I think we are up to 35, we'll be hitting 35 homes at the end of this year, where we've been able to work alongside Whānau and address some of those critical issues. This house in particular had, so the photo on the left obviously is the first one. This house is a mother, single mother, 4 children, and there were leads running to half of the home because half of the house had no power running into it. And in particular, this is the bathroom here that had a lead running with a lamp next to the bath so that she could bathe the children. This is the reality of our whānau. This is the reality that all of you are writing policy for and or trying to help. And so it's really important that you understand what the real needs are and I guess the survival mode that some of our whānau are living in out there. So speaking of our whānau, we have, this is another kind of one of those unexpected benefits, we have Paula Toho, who's a builder, a qualified builder, master builder, and he's been able to now set up at home because of all of the changes that have been happening because of this kaupapa. And he's just finishing off a new kohanga reo as well, so he's been a busy man. But we managed to get him to front what we call ruapehu wharewhacks. So as I said, in the summertime, we have a really unique climate. In the summertime, especially this summer, we went up to the mid-30s, and then in the wintertime, we'll go down to the negatives. We'll see snow. It's makariri. And so that takes a real toll on your home. And so there are unique things that you need to know to maintain a home in the Ruapehu climate. And so we've come up with a number of solutions, and this one in particular are some video blogs that one of our own leads for our whānau. I learned, and I was speaking to Nancy, she learned something from this particular one as well.
Kia ora te whānau, welcome to Whare Fact. Now we're going to be looking at aluminium windows and the importance of the weep holes. So, if you can see up here, we have divots in the aluminium. This is what allows the water to come out. Any water trapped on the inside comes out what we call a weep hole. And so cleaning out these weep holes is really quite important. All you need is a toothpick or a piece of grass, something hard that you can get inside and just make sure they're clear. With all houses, you get humidity inside, and you get all the condensation that comes down the window. It sits on the trough inside, and if you're not letting that moisture out, it'll just start to rot out your windowsills. So these are quite important. And this one's got a square slot for where the water comes in and out. So any water that comes in here will go straight out here. If these are blocked, the water can come inside and start to rot out the floor at the base of your doors. So it's really important, especially on sliding doors. Inside this window is the trough. So any water that comes down the window goes inside. Inside this trough, it goes out those weep holes. So keeping these windows clean benefits your windows.
So we could go home today saying we learned about whānau-led development and we learned about how to make sure our aluminium windows do not rot. That was a new one for me as well. I've only got 5 minutes, and as I go through and start to conclude off the kaupapa that we've been able to share today, what we realised from our first plan, supported by TBK, and our second plan, before launching our second plan last year in September, was the critical success factors. So we did a number of things in evaluating ourselves. And from that, we found this out, that we've organically created a virtuous cycle of development. So you'll see the cycle there is how we do things. Stat story solutions, implement, we review, so we're constantly reviewing inside of our implementation process. We make sure that what we do is sustainable in its impact, and sustainable in the kaupapa itself. I'll talk more about that. We evaluate it, and then we inform the rest of our actions. So we do that right across the framework that you saw, right across the entire plan, and then as we delve down into the detail of each solution, we do that as well. You'll see, and you can access the plan online, and I've got 2 copies for 2 lucky winners here today. But you'll see in the middle, this is the most important thing, whānau and community. And community are made up of whānau. That's it. Whether they own a business, whether they're running the businesses, whether they're at the marae, whoever they are, they're all whānau. And then outside of that, in the green circle, are what we've identified for us, the most important factors, the most important things that made a difference for us. So local level statistics, making it meaningful and working off both facts and feelings, shared decision making and resources, that's our collective, our community reference group, a common purpose through belonging to kororuapehu. That's been the biggest thing that's kept that group together for now 7 years. Multiple levels of inclusive leadership, self-developed people-centered solutions, and expert advice. Never wing it. So that's me saying, you're up, your time's up. Never wing it, and we don't wing it for our people. We can't afford to. That's irresponsible of us. So where we need the experts like Kiri Kōwhai, who I'm lucky I have instant access to, or like Selwyn Hayes, Partner EY, or like others, PhD candidates who come in and do our evaluation, never wing it. Make sure you I guess, are doing our whānau justice in whatever it is that you're doing. So some of the key things for us, and I hope that you've been able to glean from this kōrero, these particular things, these particular statements, is that this is iwi-led, but it's an Indigenous lens for all. $10.2 million of value for our entire community. And we know that we can't do it alone. And we know that we're a small community and we can't work in silos, so we can't transform sustainably if we only do it in silos. If it's only for us, it has to be for everybody. Our reality is that our kids are on the same rugby fields, they're in the same classrooms. We're all at the New World together at the same time. A lot of business gets done there. We have to do it together while still recognising and celebrating our differences. A shared vision, shared values, and being courageous and having shared decision-making has made a difference for us in our collective. Stat Story Solutions has allowed us to gather authentic insights and authentic aspirations that have continued to engage and keep hold of our people, and they continue to lead this kaupapa. We're trying to create a sustainable impact, and by doing that, we make sure that we create sustainable platforms for change. This allows us to have true mana motuhake as iwi. And so those sustainable platforms, like Te Paitata, like Ruapehu Recruitment, have business plans where they will be financially sustainable so that we can make the decisions ourselves and we can continue to change things for ourselves. There is transcendental value in our whenua. So there is an inextricable link between the well-being of our lands and our waters and the well-being of our people. That, I hope you would have seen, is fundamental to this kaupapa, with koro leading us through this entire journey. We have intergenerational responsibility, and for us at home, we recognise that intergenerational responsibility, and all of you do as well. We are only but a moment in time. And so what are we going to do? What is our legacy statements? What is our legacy contribution to creating intergenerational change? How are we going to hand this planet over? This planet, our place, our people, how are we going to hand that over to the next generation? We're addressing issues that are over 180 years old. So there's been all of those generations before us. What are we going to do in our time? And purposeful partnerships. So for all of those initiatives, and I only highlighted a few, we have had purposeful partnerships. So it's great to go out and have a hui and all those things, but please don't count it as an outcome. That didn't make a change. So what's been really meaningful for us is to have partnerships, and I want to mihi te duro, I can see her over here on the side, is having partnerships around a common purpose. So for us, around a common project where we come together to make a change. It's meaningful. We're not just there to talk. We're not just there to hui. We're there because we can share something and an outcome. We can see that it'll make a difference for our people, and that's what we're working towards together. Really key to that is being able to communicate, and like I said, to speak the same language, because we often have trouble with that, even in our own communities. My final whakaaro, and I was thinking about this as I sent this project through, or this presentation through rather, is this. And I know that you all have influence. And, you know, I acknowledge the people in the room. And you have, for want of a better word, products for communities. But it's really important that you understand the people and the districts that have to use those products, or that can use those products, I should say. They don't have to. It's really important that you, I guess, design to the appetite of the people. And so they might be at all different stages of readiness. So it might be that they need technical leadership, or they need expertise, or they need your connections, or they need to come and speak to us, because now you know that we exist. And so they might want to learn from other people who are working in that same space. It might be that they need guidance in their applications for your funds. Kia ora doodle. She's great at that for us. You know, if we didn't get something quite right, or we're not telling the story right, she just gives us a little bit of advice. Or it might be that you just need to get out of the way, because we can do it ourselves. And when we need you, we will call you. But when you come to us, and I say this because it happened recently, as recent as, I guess, the end of last year, please don't tell us what to do. Please don't think you know us, unless you do truly know us. And I will know if you do, because it means you'll be my neighbour. You know, so only the people that live in those communities truly know themselves and truly know what will make a difference. I'm not saying you don't have value. You absolutely can contribute to that, and you have valuable contribution to make to that. But it's them. They have to determine what it is that they want to do, and then you come in with information, data, and at our place level, at a level that is relevant to us, that is going to help us to make decisions that will matter for our people. So kia whakamanga I tō mai, hei kai whakawhanake mo te iwi whānui. So whakamanga is a concept where our kuia would chew the food up and allow it to be digestible to the babies. And so please make your tools of advancement, because that's what they are, palatable to the people, so that we can continue to remain relentless in turning aspirational strategy and aspirational policy into transformational action. Koina tāku. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa.